So this is Nirbhay and welcome back to another video of AWS Basics to Advanced series. So in this video we will see how we can set up an Bastion host or a jump server. Okay, and by using that Bastion host we will try to access our private EC2 instance. Okay, so as you can see on my screen there are different components that we need to create. Okay, so first that is we should be in a region, and secondly we need to create an VPC, and then we will be creating a public subnet and a private subnet and a public route table and a private route table and internet gateway, and we will spinning up our Bastion host and our private EC2 instance, and from the outside internet we will try to access to our Bastion server, and from that we will try to access to the private EC2 instance. Firstly, what you need to do, you need to select any region. Okay, so I am in Mumbai region, you can select any. Okay, and secondly what you need to do, you need to create an VPC. Okay, so let I click on this VPC and I will be selecting on this your VPC. I will be simply hitting on this create VPC. Okay, so let I name it as demo VPC. Okay, CIDR range, let I give it as 13.00016, 13.0.0.0/16, and simply I will be hitting on this create VPC. Okay, so now our VPC has been created. Okay, secondly what we need to create, we need to create two subnets, that is public subnet and a private subnet. Okay, so let's again go to our console, and in the left side subnets. Okay, so I will be clicking on this create subnet and VPC. Which VPC we need to select? That we now created, that is demo VPC. Okay, and here let I give it a name as public subnet, and let I copy it, and range, what I range need to provide, it is 13.000/24. Okay, 13.0.0.0/24. So now I am taking a pause over here. So if you are someone who want to learn the subnetting from very basics to advanced, so I have made a detailed video on that. So I will be mentioning its playlist link in the above I section, and also I will be mentioning in the description of this video. Okay, so I have provided its CID name. Okay, now I want to create one more subnet, that is our private subnet. So as I copied this, okay, so I will simply paste that, and now I will be name it as private subnet. Okay, CID range, what I need to give, 13.0.1.0.24. okay, 13.0.1.0/20, and I will be simply hitting on this create subnet. Okay, so what it has done, this has now created our two subnet, that is public subnet and private subnet. Now what we need to create, a public route table and a private route table. Okay, so simply let's go to route tables, and I will be clicking on this create route table. So let I name it as public RT, and VPC will be our demo VPC only, and let I copy this name and create route table. So our public route table has been created. So let I create one more, again route tables, create route tables, and this time I will be naming it as private RT. VPC will be our that demo VPC only, simply create route table. Okay, so now as our public and private route tables has been created, so what we need to do, we need to associate this public and private route tables to the public and private subnets. Okay, so firstly we will be associating our public route table to the public subnet. So let's go again here and select that public RT and subnet association, and click on this edit subnet association and public save association. So what this has done, if you select on this subnet association, you can see now our public RT is been associated with our public subnet. So similarly we will doing for private route table also. So again we will go to subnet association, edit subnet association. Now we will be selecting that public subnet and save association. Okay, so now our private subnet has been associated to our private route table. Okay, so now the next step will be, we need to create an internet gateway so that our VPC will have internet access. Okay, so let's go to internet gateway and create internet gateway, and let I name it as demo IGW, and simply create internet gateway. Okay, so this internet gateway has been created. Now what we need to do, we need to associate this internet gateway to the VPC. So I will simply clicking on this again internet gateway. Now you can see demo IGW has been created. I will be simply clicking on this action attach to VPC. Which VPC? Our demo VPC, and simply attach internet gateway. Okay, so now our internet gateway has been attached to our VPC. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to add a route in the public route table towards internet gateway so that our Bastion host or a jump server will have internet access. Okay, so let's go to our route tables and select that public route table and routes and click on edit routes. Okay, towards what we need to add? Towards the internet, so that our server will have internet access. So destination is what? The internet, means all 0/0 for any IPs. Mean what will be the target? It will be the internet gateway, and internet gateway that we created, that is demo IGW. So just select that and click on save changes. So now we have successfully added the route in the public route table towards the internet gateway. Okay, so next step will be, we need to spin up this Bastion host or a jump server and a private EC2 server. So I will be simply going and searching for EC2, and I will be hitting on this launch instance. So let I name it as Bastion host, or we can also name it as jump server. So let I copy this also. So I will be selecting an Amazon Linux type instance only. Okay, and of t2.micro, and here you can either create new key pair by clicking on this create new pair, and you can name any, and you can simply hit on this create key pair. So it will download an PAM key for you. Okay, so but I am selecting my existing one, that is test key. Okay, and here what we need to do in networking setting, as we know, we need to deploy this jump server into our public subnet. Okay, and into this VPC only. Okay, so I will be clicking on this edit, and VPC will be our demo VPC. Okay, and subnet I want public only, so I have selected that, and here I need to enable this auto assign public IP because it is our public server. Okay, and security name you can provide it any, so let I name it as Bastion host jump server SG, and you can see in security group it is allowing some rule, that is for SSH for port 22 source from where you want to take access from anywhere. So let I keep it as my IP only. So if you are working in production environment, so you can here you can keep your VPN IP also. And description, let I name it as SSH, and simply click on this launch instance. So this will be launching an Bastion host for me. Okay, so meanwhile let I create private EC2 instance also. So again I will be clicking on this launch instance, and let I name it as private EC2. Sorry, my system is hanging, and it will be again Amazon Linux type and t2.micro, and again I will be selecting that same key pair. If you want to create new, you can, and in networking setting I will be clicking on this edit, and now I want to deploy this private EC2 instance into our private subnet. Okay, so VPC will be our that demo VPC only, and subnet now I want in private subnet. So this time I will be keeping this option disabled only for auto assign public IP, as this is our private EC2 instance. And name you can name it as any, let I named it as private EC2 SG, and here you can see there is a rule for SSH for port 22 from where, so from where we want to take access from this subnet. Okay, and what the subnet is, it is 13.000/24. okay, so I will be simply selecting here custom, and I will be pasting that thing. It has added extra stars, so let I remove that. Okay, from this CADR I will be having that SSH access. Okay, so in that CADR what we have deployed, our Bastion host. Okay, so I will simply clicking on this launch instance. Okay, so this will be launching our private EC2 instance. So let I click on this instances. Okay, so if I refresh that, you can see, you can ignore this one, that is first one. You can see our Bastion host jump server, it is now running, and it is by 2x2 check pass. Okay, and for private EC2 instance it is still in initializing phase, as you can see. Once it is getting loaded, okay, you can see it is in initializing. Okay, this one was terminated, so you can ignore that. So now we will try to access to our Bastion server. Okay, so I will be simply clicking on this, and you need to click on this connect. So here go to SSH, and now in order to connect to this server, what you need to change the permission of that key pair file. Okay, so let I show that key pair. I have moved into another folder. Okay, so you can see this is the key pair that I have selected. Okay, so I will be simply right clicking on this and show more option and open in git bash. So why I am selecting this, because this is something that allows me to run Linux command. So if I run ll over here, that is list long, you can see I am having the key which only have this read access. Okay, so if you download that, you will be seeing here write access also. Okay. So to remove that, you can simply fire this command, that is this chmod, and it will remove that write permissions. Okay, so I have already done that, and now I want to take the access to the server. Okay, so I can simply copy this command and paste. So you can see it will ask for yes or no. I will be simply saying yes. So you can see now I have logged into my Bastion host. So you can verify its IP also, that is 13.0.0.166. Let I go back, and if I simply click on this, and you can see its IP was this only, 13.0.0.166. Okay, so let's I open that private EC2 instance also. Okay, so I have just duplicated that tab, and if you can see our status check for private EC2 instance, it is okay, it is still in initializing state. Now you can see it is 2x2 check pass state. Okay, so I will simply clicking on this connect, and in the again SSH tab. So in order to access to our private EC2 instance, what we need to do, we need to again change that permission for this key file. Okay, so what key file? We have used the same key file only. So we need to create this key file into our Bastion server. Okay, so for that what we need to do, let I copy this file name, that is testkey.pam, and I will be going into my jump server. Let I clear the page, and I will be simply running this vi. What this will do, it will create that key pair file and it will open it. Okay, enter. Okay, so what content we need to provide here? Okay, so we need to provide the PAM key content that we have downloaded and we have used for this instance. Okay, so let I open my folder. We have stored my PAM key. I will be simply right clicking on this and open it notepad. So you can see it will look something like this. Okay, so you need to simply copy all, Control A, Control C. Okay, and again go to that server, Bastion host server, and hit I from your computer and right click and paste. Okay, so now this has been pasted. Now hit escape from your computer and colon WQ and exclamatory, means save, quit and forcefully, and enter. Okay, so if you can see, if I run cat test, you can see that content has been added to this file. Okay, let I clear this. Okay, if I run ll, now you can see for my file there is a write permission also. Okay, so now if you try to access, it will not allow you. So if I try to access it, you can see it will say, if I try yes, this will say test key permission are too open. Okay, so we need to remove this write. Okay, so to remove the write, what we need to do, we need to run this command, that is chmod, and paste. Okay, now if I run again ll, so you can see that write permission has been removed. Okay, so let I clear my screen, and if I again copy that command, that is SSH and key pair name, that is test key and username and then its IP. Okay, so I will simply copy that and I will paste that, and you can see I have successfully logged into my private EC2 instance, which has IP 13.0.1.186, as you can also verify from here. Okay, to summarize this video, what we have done, we have created an VPC, we have created two subnets, that is public subnet and a private subnet, and we created public route table and a private route table. We created internet gateway and attached to our VPC so that it will have internet access, and in the routes of that public route table we added the route towards internet gateway so that our Bastion server will have internet access. Okay, and we deployed both Bastion host and a private EC2 host, and we allowed the range of that public subnet into the SG of our private EC2. Okay, and we successfully logged into our Bastion host, and from there we logged into our private EC2 instance. Okay, so hoping that this video was helpful. So if you have any doubts, please comment in the comment section. Till now, bye bye.